Well, hello, Melissa Slemp here. Lunch and learn time. Are you guys ready? Thanksgiving is here. Holidays are coming up. We all share something in common, diabetes. Myself, I have type 1 diabetes. I was diagnosed just a little bit about myself. I was diagnosed in 1982 when I was 14, almost 15. So I've been on insulin now for 38 years. And yeah, and I'm checking to see, I should be going live. I don't see anybody on here quite yet, but I'm gonna keep talking. I think I might wait just a minute and I might replay, start over, see where we're going. Yeah, there's a few of you on here. I'm just going to set myself back up again. So you are in my kitchen. Again, I'm Melissa Slemp, health coach and a type 1 diabetic, 38 years now on insulin. And I help my clients as a health coach with lifestyle and all of the things that we need to be doing better. And that's whether you have blood sugar to control or not. I think, you know, the habits that I coach and I train people on, it's just, all of these things are just so vital to keeping our health and our immune system strong, especially this time of the season that we're in. And today I've been asked to kind of show something that we can do for Thanksgiving. And again, this is a recipe. The roasted vegetable recipe is something that we can do anytime, something that you can do anytime. And I'm all about easy too. I enjoy being in the kitchen. I enjoy cooking, but I don't want to spend a lot of time doing it, right? So it's fun to make an event out of it. Sometimes, you know, like if we have people in our home that would like to cook with us, which is what I like to do as well. So what I did is I cut up some of the vegetables, and these are all the, and this recipe will be provided to you inside the show notes, the comments, and I believe there's going to be a separate video, separate post within DMP with all of this information. And this is the recipe we're working on today. And this was just a kind of step back too, because these are an example of some vegetables that we can put together and roast. So this is just the ones that I picked for this recipe. They're the ones that I've cooked many times, and they all go well together, but there's really no rule about it. I mean, good, real whole food in its natural state with some really good spices and ingredients like this can simply be cooked and enjoyed no matter how you put it together. So the recipe does show you that. So I got most of it cut up here in the bowl. And I'm going to just demonstrate how easy it can be. So I'm going to continue with the onion. And again, this is just a sweet Vidalia onion. So I've already got some sweet potatoes in the bowl. So I'm just going to toss that in there. I already have my oven is preheated as well. I did that before I came on. So that is ready to go. So this is just throwing all this in here. And some more broccoli. So the big question too, I think as a diabetic myself, I love food. And my husband, David, is also type 1. So we've got it going on in the household as far as our habits are very much alike, which makes living with diabetes and managing it every day a lot easier when you have somebody living with you who gets it, right? Just like this community does. And so we enjoy food, we enjoy eating well, and we enjoy flavor. So we do not deprive ourselves. So it's just a matter of getting to know food and ingredients and what goes good together and what the body responds to, because again, real whole foods is really what I believe in. Our body, our digestive system, our energy, our blood sugar, all of it responds so much better to real whole food. And it's much easier to manage, or to, I should say, to measure, when we really, you know, when we get used to what we're cooking and what is in the pantry, as opposed to things that we're not used to making or we're familiar with. So this is sweet potato, and I'm just adding a little bit more into the mix here, into the bowl. And again, yeah, I'd like to know if any of you are cooking for the holidays, if this is going to be maybe something that you're going to add to your menu. I'd love to hear the comments inside the group, inside the post. So we're finishing up the sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts. How many of you love Brussels sprouts? This is a funny story because I didn't even really recognize Brussels sprouts, if that makes any sense, until maybe about 5 years ago. So it goes to show you, it's never too late to try new things. And this is among the cruciferous vegetable group of vegetables, along with the broccoli and the cauliflower and vegetables like that, which is so good for the whole system, again, the immune system, and to keep our digestive system good. It's good for liver health, all these things that help support our health. And again, there's no real rule to this. I'm just chopping and I'm throwing it in the bowl. So I'm almost done with this. And you know, another tip that I use too is I'm always trying to reduce paper in my kitchen. So I have like these dish towels that are washable. So they're a great thing to just be able to clean your vegetables with ahead of time, and to have it, you know, close by, or you can just kind of towel dry your vegetables, because I don't tend to like things wet when I'm going to eat them, especially raw. So just a tip. So that's what I have there. I have them all on top of a clean dish towel. And now we got some mushrooms. Yeah, my method of coaching it really emulates the same way I live and the habits that I believe in, because they've worked for me. And you know, it really does. It starts with just the regular healthy habits that we all need to, you know, really make regular, to make consistent, and then when our body responds well, everything works, right? You know, when our body is feeling good, when we're well nourished, when our blood sugar is in control, and then we have the energy to get through our day and to keep us stable. I think it's all about it. So what I have here is just some extra of everything. So this is just for the visuals. So this is basically the big bowl of vegetables, and you can see there's a lot of vegetables in here. And this is going to cover a cookie sheet or a roasting sheet that I have. And again, I have put the oven on preheat at 375, roasted. So now I'm just going to, now avocado oil, if you're not familiar, avocado oil and coconut oil, those are the two recommended oils for this recipe because they have a higher heat tolerance. So anytime we're roasting, sauteing, obviously when we're cooking vegetables, it's good to have an oil that can withstand the heat and not burn in the oven or burn on the stovetop. So this is 2 tablespoons. Again, I'm just measuring out the avocado oil. And I think I'm gonna just about use the rest of my bottle. And some garlic. So I believe it was 2 teaspoons of garlic. And again, if you're a garlic lover like me, there's no rules. There's no rules about how much to use. Use a little bit more if you want to, right? So whatever you have, take advantage of it. And then the other, thyme is amazing. This is organic. I'm stumbling. Organic thyme that I found on the grocery shelf. So you measure out a teaspoon of this, and then I actually have some rosemary that has done really good in my garden this year. So it's super easy to grow here in Florida. If you don't know, I'm in St. Augustine, Florida. And it's beautiful weather today too. The sun has kind of come out today. It was a little gloomy this morning, but still pretty warm here today. So then I'm just going to take some rosemary. And rosemary is a very, it's the word? It's kind of a prickly leaf, so you don't need much. Rosemary, a little bit goes a long way. And it smells amazing. Oh, I love the smell. Kind of like basil too. I don't know if you guys have ever grown fresh basil. But again, that's about a teaspoon. And I'm going to get my chopper here. Excuse the noise. And just as a warning, just in case, this is about the time the postal guy comes. The mailman comes to our front door. And I have a puppy that's in here. He's not really a puppy anymore. He's almost 3 in December. But he does not like the mailman. So if there is a ruckus that goes off anytime while I'm talking, that's what it is. So just to warn you. He gets a little excited when somebody's at the door putting mail in the box. So we are so close. I am just chopping this up. Yeah, thyme is definitely, rosemary is definitely an herb that it's very pungent, and a little goes a long way. So mixed with the garlic and the thyme, it's amazing. And again, you can use your fingers. So again, I'm probably into, again, I chopped most of this up this morning. So, and again, it didn't take long. It's about getting your vegetables washed and ready ahead of time. You got the equipment, you have the cutting board, a good knife to cut with, and then bowls to put it in, because that's what I like to do. I just like to kind of put it in a different bowl, just so it's not kind of like piling up or where you don't know where to store it. That's my method. I would love to hear how you guys how you do that. So I am just basically putting all this in here. Now another added thing that I do have already mixed in a bowl is red seedless grapes. So this is one of those surprise things, and I have another recipe which is just Brussels sprouts, some herbs, and the red seedless grapes with some grape and the oils as well. And it is amazing. I've gotten such great, feedback on how amazing that recipe is. People love it. So again, I'm going to get my big spoon out here. I'm just mixing it in. Give those vegetables a little bit of wetness, a little bit of moisture. And another question I get to is about using fats in our diet with diabetes, and that is definitely something you need to talk with your doctor about as far as what sort of fats you can tolerate. Healthy fats are so good for us. Our brains love healthy fats, our joints, every system in the body needs healthy fats to function properly. So things like the avocado oil, coconut oil, nuts and seeds are great examples of healthy fats. And I'm going to put a little bit more of this oil in here because we can afford it, a little bit more of that healthy fat. And yeah, and another thing to think about is this recipe includes sweet potatoes, and that's another question because sweet potatoes is a starchy vegetable loaded with vitamins, loaded with, they're beautiful colors. And that's another thing I love about this bowl. It's filled with beautiful colored goodness. But sweet potatoes, like all carbohydrates, that we have to recognize that they will affect our blood sugar. It's about portion control. So again, sweet potatoes is not the main part of this recipe. It's just included in sort of equal parts. Again, you can do that yourself as far as when you decide to make this recipe, how much of it you want it to be with the sweet potatoes. So again, carbohydrates are something that we have to be cognizant of, be aware of. And again, the red seedless grapes, again, it's a fruit that does contain some fructose, which is a natural sugar. But again, within portion control and within balance of the whole recipe, I have never known this recipe when cooked and enjoyed to spike my blood sugar. And in most cases, it doesn't need, I don't require insulin to help balance it either. So this is it. It's all mixed up. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get all this out of the way. And I didn't forget the salt and pepper. I like to put that on after the fact, so I can sprinkle it evenly over the top. So, and this is parchment paper, which I really recommend. This makes cleanup easy, because anything that's kind of cooked and stuck to a pan is a lot harder to cook or to clean. So try to make the time in the kitchen easy. So again, this is just all spread out. And do a little shake. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm going to point my camera up here just to show you, or show you how beautiful that looks. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous, and it tastes good. Bonus. So this is just some ground black pepper, and I will just put that on top. Again. And then some Himalayan sea salt. Again, that's a taste thing. Maybe you don't like salt and pepper, that's your choice. So I'm going to pop this in the oven, and that's it. It's ready to go. And again, that takes about 15-20 minutes, and it's all about what kind of crispiness you like. I tend to like my vegetables crispy with a little bit of crunch to them. So it's 12:20 right now, and my goal is to be able to get that out of the oven to show to you, to see how beautiful it is before I go today. So I am going to, I want to talk to you about navigating the holidays. Again, I've been navigating it for 38 years, and I'm sure I've had some years in there where I've stumbled with making bad choices. And I think like anything with diabetes, it really helps to have a plan. It helps to prepare ahead of time, to recognize where you're going, what you're going to be doing, what food's going to be available. If you're able to bring your own food, hopefully you're invited to bring a dish. You could bring some roasted vegetables. It's something that you can enjoy, and it's always good to share something healthy with people that you're with, right? Now parties are another whole thing, right? Because again, that's something we plan maybe in the evening. And I say, like all of our habits, continue with our healthy habits every day, but really pay attention to them on those days that you know that you're going to be going out and maybe eating food that you're not used to eating, maybe drinking alcohol, all those things. So things like, and this may sound funny, but my husband and I, again, he's type 1 diabetic as well, we actually eat before we go to a party. So we'll get something really healthy. We'll have a big salad or some roasted vegetables or something that's going to nourish us, knowing that whatever we choose to eat that night may not be the most optimal for our health. So to get those nourishings and those vitamin-filled foods into us before we even go out the door, that always kind of, and you're not going out the door hungry, right? Another big thing is hydration. So I'm a big believer in drinking a lot of water, staying hydrated every day, but especially those days where, again, you're going to be a little bit off of your schedule. You may not be sleeping as well that night, which is another big thing that we need to be thinking about during the holidays, is really taking care of ourselves. And another thing is exercise. So planning a walk, planning a bike ride, taking a trip to the gym, whatever it is that you do to enjoy to stay fit that in on the days where there's a lot going on with parties and partying and eating a little bit more. Now I know right now with COVID-19, there's probably less of these parties that are going to happen. I'm not real sure what's going on within your community, but there's still probably going to be gatherings with family, and no matter what, there's going to be food involved, right? So again, plan it, think ahead, and knowing what your blood sugar is, whether or not you wear a CGM, is a huge help, right? So I wear the Dexcom. I have my sensor on right now. So knowing ahead of time where you are is going to help us make better decisions, right? So when you go into a party and knowing what your blood sugar is, having your insulin or your insulin pump ready to go to pre-bolus before you eat. And this is another tip too that I've done is you notice when you go to parties or get-togethers, there tends to be food everywhere, right? Kind of scan everything you see. Just do a look over as to all the food that's out, and ask yourself, okay, of all these things that I see, what do I really, really, really want to try? So what is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things? What is it that I really want to put on my plate that's going to make a difference, that maybe I haven't had before, maybe something that you want to try, and go ahead and indulge in that. And again, still mindfully thinking about how it's going to affect your blood sugar and how it's going to affect how you feel that night. And just make a plan and consciously pick the foods that, again, like a treat, something that, that you're going to have enjoyment with eating. Another thing is to talk about is alcohol during the holidays or any time, is to be aware again of what your tolerances are, staying hydrated, drinking water before you go out, drinking water while you're drinking, believe it or not, maybe alternating one drink for 1 to 2 glasses of water, and then always timing that with food, because the body absorbs alcohol at a very much slower, more controlled rate in conjunction with our blood sugar when we're hydrated and we have food in our tummy. So again, eating that food ahead of time might be a good idea, would be a good idea. Staying hydrated is a great idea, and always planning ahead. So those are my tips. That is what works for me, and I hope that works for you as well. I am going to look on here. Wow. While the veggies are cooking, and I'm going to see what kind of questions you have. I apologize as I grab my glasses. Jane is asking, is the way of managing diabetes changing along with age changes? That's interesting, because I started out as a teenager with diabetes, and I'm now 53. Hormonally, definitely, that's been an impact. I think the number one thing we can do is stay consistent with our healthy habits every day, and that's something we can control, right? I mean, that is something, age is not something we can control, but how much we move, how much sleep we're getting, those are factors, those are parts of that framework that strengthens our ability to better control blood sugar. So I have noticed in my years is I haven't seen any really dramatic changes with my control based on my age, because I'm really consistent with my habits, and I'm really addicted to feeling good. So consistently feeling good is really my motivation. So I hope that answers your question, Jane. I love sweet potatoes. Me too. Hey, Sean and Dorothy and Laura. Gosh, it's so great to see you all. And DMP has put the recipe in here. Thanks for letting me know, Giselle. I am live. Hi, Leslie. Giselle, hi, I'm here. It's really great to see you all. And if you have any other questions, I would love to hear. I wanted to share some more tips about food as well, especially with the holidays. I think another thing to think about is holidays is really big with desserts too. And that's something else that I share on my website. I have, what I've done over the years is I've loved to bake. I've always loved baking and being in the kitchen. And I've taken those traditional recipes, those recipes that, like the banana bread is one that I'll use an example of. And I've recreated it to be more healthy. And I'm just going to position this as I'm talking to you. So there's definitely ways to do that, to be more cognizant of what the ingredients are. So for example, the banana, there's a pumpkin banana bread recipe that I've recreated based on the ingredients, and it is made from almond flour. And again, the all-purpose white flour, which is very processed and bleached and not good, and it tends to spike our blood sugar when it's included in these baked recipes. So almond flour is full of minerals and vitamins. It has some fiber and some protein. That's another great way of eating, is to combine those macros, which is something I didn't really mention here, but I will. Anytime that we eat, my rule has always been to include a healthy fat and a protein, and that can be an animal-based protein or a plant-based protein. There's many great options for either or. And the avocado. So this is something that I will add to these roasted vegetables. So you can just slice up this, and typically a quarter of an avocado has about 8 to 10 grams of fats. They're omega-3, and they're really good for us, really good for our system. So this would be a good creaminess to add to those vegetables. Maybe you have a side of roasted, not roasted, but kind of like a braised fish or a grilled fish. Maybe some organic chicken sauteed. That's another ways to do it. Maybe you're going to grill some meat on the outside on the grill. Beans, lentils. Those are more of it's a complex carb. Oh, yep, the mailman is here. It's okay, Kona. Well, that wasn't too bad. You barely saw the mailman this time. So yeah, like I said, it's about taking samples from all of those food groups and combining them. Because you will notice, and I would love to hear your response to this, if you've noticed that when you don't just eat a simple carbohydrate, that your blood sugar can stay a lot more stable. It doesn't spike, and it doesn't require that insulin, or it doesn't have that after effect on your insulin or your blood sugar levels going up. So I would love to hear if you guys have noticed that as well, because that's something I've learned many years ago, and it's a habit that I continue with. It's making sure that there's protein and healthy fat along with any sort of complex carb, and of course vegetables, right? Filling that plate with vegetables. Pack it up with vegetables, which is what we're doing here with the roasted vegetables today. So making that the main part of your meal, and whether or not you put meat with that or a grain with that, again, that's portion control. And that is something that you can factor in to your insulin or your oral med needs, depending if you're type 1 or type 2. So, let's see if there's any more questions here. We are still cooking. We've got about 10 minutes in the oven. Yeah, I welcome any questions if you guys have any. Share if you're eating or if you're going to be preparing Thanksgiving at home today. Not today. If you're going to be preparing your Thanksgiving meal with your family this week, let me know. Let the crowd know here inside the comments. We'd love to hear. And if this recipe with the roasted vegetables has inspired you, I really hope it came across as easy to prepare. It's something that you can do. Another tip too is I get asked this from my clients. It's like, well, I'm not sure what to make, and I always say, go in the fridge, see what you have, or look at your cupboards, see what you have. It's always good to use what you have, especially with fresh vegetables. Be able to eat them, before that they go bad. And there really is no rule. There's no rule about what vegetables go with what. Just pick what you like. Maybe add something new to the mix, so maybe the Brussels sprouts is a new vegetable for you, and that's not something that you've tried before. So I hope that this gave you that idea to try the Brussels sprouts. Yeah, you guys are doing great. Again, if there's any questions, I'm here. I'm here to answer your questions about food or diabetes, or managing blood sugar during the holidays. Let me know what you guys are thinking. We would love to hear. Everybody here on the group chat would love to hear. Now there's a couple ways to stay connected with me. I'm listed as one of the professionals here on the DMP app, and it's under Mastering T2D, so type 2 diabetes. And again, I live with type 1, but my practices and my coaching and the habits that I coach all surround all the things that we all need to be doing, whether we're dealing with type 1 or type 2. But I do specialize in type 2 health coaching with lifestyle and blood sugar control. So, and yeah, you can find me in there and find out more about me. Visit my website, abundanthealthwithmelissa.com. I'm also on Instagram under Blood Sugar Boss, at Blood Sugar Boss. And yeah, I'm going to take a few more minutes and see if anybody else has questions. I'm sorry, I'm looking at your questions. What do you think about keto for diabetics? I'm sorry that I didn't see these. I'm just now seeing them. Keto is definitely a diet that a lot of type 2s are really getting success from. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie. It's actually a documentary that Dr. Mark Hyman, who I love, functional medicine doctor, he has the Doctor's Pharmacy podcast. I recommend everybody checking that out. But this documentary just came out earlier in the year, and it really does dive into how important healthy fats are to really substitute the carbohydrates that are so heavy in our diets that we really don't need, that we can really rely on healthy fats to give us the energy. And it's a lot easier to balance blood sugar when we don't have the carbs to calculate, right? And it's also a good source of energy. Another recipe that I love is chia seed pudding, which I've shared here within the app. And that's a good example of it's a seed, the chia seed, that is omega-3 fatty acid rich, and you can add some protein, some cinnamon, some nut butter, and some fresh berries, which are low glycemic for the fruits, onto it. And that is a really good power-packed breakfast to enjoy, and that's considered a keto breakfast. So yeah, it's definitely something to talk to your doctor about, whether or not you go through that process of keto. I think long-term, it can be something it's not sustainable for a very long time. It's very individual, just like any of our habits with food and lifestyle. It's very individual. There's no 2 days alike, no 2 diabetics alike, so everybody has to do what's best for them. What's your go-to dinner for holidays? Thanks, Kyle. I start with vegetables. Everything surrounds the vegetables first, and things like last night, I'll use last night as an example. I got some organic, hormone-free chicken. We don't eat a lot of animal meat, but when we do, we get the really good high quality. And I actually coated that in a flaxseed nutritional yeast, like a breading, and we just sauteed that on the stovetop in a pan. And that was on top of some sauteed vegetables and cauliflower rice, with some kale mixed in, and topped with some avocado. So that's an example. I always say start with vegetables first, build your plate around the vegetables. And it's all about quality, picking really good vegetables and good quality sources of lean protein. Elaine wants to know, can we connect with you on DMP? Yes, you can find me. Again, I'm under the professionals. It's on the home page. You'll see the Finding Professionals tab, and I'm under Mastering T2D, and you'll see my picture on there, Melissa Slemp. You can also find me on Instagram at Blood Sugar Boss, and my website is Abundant Health with Melissa, which is where I have all my programs and courses, a lot of free things too. You can sign up for my email list to stay connected with all my tips and my recipes. And I like to pop in here in DMP and, to see what you all are talking about, and the accountability that's happening here is amazing. just to share with you too, because when I was first diagnosed, and for many years, this was not available. You know, the community, the support, just the knowledge of what diabetes was and what it was to live with diabetes wasn't available. So very thankful that it is now, and that, you know, that now I'm a part of it. And yeah, it's a welcome resource. Really do appreciate being a part of it. Now I'm going to go check those vegetables. So I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to see how our roasted vegetables are doing. Okay, now this aside, so yeah, we are in the kitchen. How much fun. So again, they've been cooking for just under 20 minutes, and that's a really good time. Again, if you wanted to go a little more crispy, you can. So just so you can see what those look like, isn't that amazing? And think our blood sugar loves it, our energy loves it, our body loves it, because, you know, these are all real foods that are packed with nourishment that makes everything run better. It's all about getting up, having good energy, and feeling our best. And I know high and low blood sugars can really affect our mood and the way that we respond to people and things that are going on in our environment. So anytime that we can control what we're eating and being able to have a better plan about how the day's going to go, I say that's a win. Definitely something to think about. So let me see what else you guys have. If you guys have any other questions, I'm really hoping that this was... Kyle, oh, right, Kyle, you're going to get in the kitchen tonight and make this? That's awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye, and I hope you all enjoy your day and enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday. And I really hope this was helpful, and I hope that you learned a lot. Please connect with me. Find me on social, or find me right here on DMP App. So thankful for DMP and bringing us together. And yeah, just all of the tips, and you know, the people that really get diabetes who are also living with it, it's really, really helpful. So feel thankful for that. Lots to be thankful for in this crazy 2020 year we've had. So let's focus on the good, and you guys be well. I hope to see you inside the group.